Howdy folks, Craig Lavati here with the Houston Museum of Natural Science and the Beyond Bones podcast. For today's episode, we're talking to Jamie Schlimper from our Sleuths and Secrets program at the museum. It's sort of like an escape room, but inside the museum. Amazing. Howdy folks, Craig Lavati here with the Houston Museum of Natural Science. This is the Beyond Bones podcast, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Kat Havens, hanging out inside her skull-strewn educational closet at the museum.
This closet is my office, sir.
It also doubles as a closet, though. So
it does kind of double as a closet where we keep our Kathleen. It's the cat cave.
I am in a kitchen.
I know. I like your kitchen.
For today's episode, we are joined by Jamie Schlimper, and she is the overnight program manager and also the curator of educational collections at HMNS, which means that she handles all of the overnight really cool experiences and also toothpicks and Q-tips for our summer camp classes.
Yeah.
So many.
And clay and paper towels.
And fake skulls and all that fun stuff. So we're talking to Jamie today about Sleuths and Secrets. And if this is a really cool program we have at the museum, if you guys don't know about it, it's sort of our version of an escape room. It's a scientific escape room. You guys know escape rooms now are popular in almost every major city in America. People love to go into these rooms and with people, with coworkers or friends or family members or something, and they end up hating each other when they leave. It's different though at the museum because you can. It's more fun. It's not as we don't actually lock you in a room, so
which is my favorite part of this. That you're not actually locked in a room.
You are free to leave at any point.
Tell everybody about Sleuths and Secrets. I'm excited to hear about it too.
Okay, well, it's one of our late night programs. It's one of my favorites because it is exciting for me as the facilitator, mostly because my entire job there is to give you what you need to do. And then I just sit back and watch people struggle. And I think that is like, and I know what to do. I'm like, oh, you're so close. So I just get to sit back and watch people do it wrong in different ways. And sometimes do it right, which is also cool. But mostly wrong. But essentially it is an escape room style program. It kind of mixes science and history and a little bit of this, that, and the other. And it encourages you to escape our Cabinet of Curiosities exhibit, which is one of my favorites at the museum as well. So I get fabulous music to relax to while other people have to do a bunch of work. And so rather than trying to basically escape the room, you're trying to solve, a centuries old puzzle, which I think is better as a history buff. So I think it's just great all around. You're not locked in. You can go to the bathroom whenever you want to. And you get to do a bunch of really cool stuff. So
we share the history buff part, and we are cohorts. We actually work in the same department. Jamie's one of my favorite people. She's very fun. Now, a little bit about the Cabinet of Curiosities, and that I'd love it if you kind of explain maybe the overview of what the story is, without giving away too much.
Yeah. Sure.
Cabinet of Curiosities is our museum's attempt at explaining the early collections that people have had that eventually turned into museum collections like you're used to today. They were a little bit more eclectic and not as maybe cataloged and organized, if that would be a way as you're used to seeing today. They're sort of, these natural philosophers, which were what we called scientists back then, sort of put together these collections from all of their travels in all kinds of different areas. Right.
It's almost like a funky oddity shop you would see like in Portland.
Yeah. It's a lot like that. And I think they were kind of oddity shops, to be fair. Just
they
things
really
just weren't for sale.
Yeah, they just started off like people would be looking around and they would find cool stuff in like nature mostly, where they would pick up a cool rock that they found on the ground, or they would travel and they would bring home like a ram's horn or something like that they just picked up. thought was cool, they would start collecting things, and eventually their collection got to be large enough that they realized, like, hey, I could probably turn a quick profit if I let people come in and see. So they would basically open up their houses and be like, look at all this cool stuff I have.
Or their kids were like, I don't want that stuff, Dad. I don't want it. And so they would willed it to one place that would take care of it.
Yeah.
And it coincided with like the age of discovery, right?
Just about, yeah.
So people were off exploring other lands and bringing things home with them. So that was exciting. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the escape room story then, the sleuths and secret scenario?
Yeah. So it really does. It plays off of the, the Cabinet of Curiosities itself. The exhibit itself was built with this program in mind, which is really cool. So, as you're going through this program, you'll see all these different things that later on you'll be like, oh, I would have never thought to like connect those, but essentially we start off with the basic history of this is what museums used to be like. It was just a collection of an individual stuff that was really cool and people thought was interesting. And so we kind of go into detail and talk about the guy who the collection is based off of. And kind of talk about like what he did, and then we go into the spooky, scary, kind of like tall tale that gets you started on your adventure, which is pretty cool. I like telling the story. The funniest thing that ever happened to me, honestly, is I was telling the story. I was like, I have all this research over here that you can look through, so that you can get more information as you go through. At the end of this program, this group came up to me and was like, oh, so you're a grad student and you've been studying this exhibit? And I was like, oh, no, I work here. I'm an employee. And they were like, oh, what? And so I was really impressed with my acting skills that day. Clearly,
I was going to say they thought you were a prop.
Yeah, I tricked them. They were like, you're not a grad student who's doing their like master's thesis? And I was like, I wish, but no, So.
I think it's great too, because I think it's really attractive. It's a harder escape room. I've done quite a few. It's a real cerebral intellectual one. So all of you people out there, if you think you're super smart, you need to book a group to come in here and see if you can give it a go. It's based on a video game, Craig. You like video games, don't you, Craig?
Producer Johnny really likes video games. He makes solar powered video games.
He does make solar powered video games. I saw his Game Boy solar powered video game video.
I knew you'd drag me into this.
Yeah.
Tell us about the genesis of this. So like the escape room it made the leap from a video game to in real life, IRL.
IRL. I just learned what that was not that long ago. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there. And there's another one that I'm going to have to ask you about later, Jamie. She's my interpreter of the youngins. So it was a video game like in the 90s, and apparently the video game company, which I don't know the name of, I'm sure Johnny does. It's Japanese. It starts with a T, Tom something. Anyway, they were having Go ahead.
I was saying no off the top of my head. There's probably a lot of video game companies start with T, but it's not ringing a bell yet. I'm learning along with you.
Okay, great. We all like to learn together. Anyway, they had an in-person event, an in-person escape room based on their video game, which is essentially what physical escape rooms are now. And people loved it, and then it spread all over the world. And we have more of them in the United States than any other country. We have over 1,000. So anyway, Jamie's talking to ghosts over there.
I am. I'm talking to the museum ghosts, but mostly because this is a hustling, bustling summer camp.
Having
people keep trying to come in here and be like, hey, but that's my own fault.
You're like, go.
Didn't put a sign on the door,
Why do you think that escape rooms have been so popular lately? Are people looking for things that are a little bit more out of the ordinary to spend, time with their friends and family, or is this? I mean, they're not going anywhere. I mean, there's buildings that have really elaborate escape rooms. I guess people are just looking for something different, another brain exercise.
What do you think, Jamie?
I mean, I definitely think that People are really just looking for something to physically do. I think they became really popular mostly because people are looking for something that is a little bit more brain intensive, where they're not, going out and sitting around and getting a drink, which is still a fun thing to do, but it's not the thing you want to do all the time. So escape rooms definitely gave people like a way to channel their like competitive nature. And they thought to themselves, this will be fun. We can all do this together, when in fact they should have thought to themselves, I'm super competitive. Maybe I don't want to do this highly competitive things with my friends.
I wanted to push people down during my first escape room. Get out of my way.
When I was a reporter at the Chronicle, we the web team, we went and did an escape room in downtown Houston over here. And never do one of those with a gang of reporters, because since we all have such abstract brains, we could not wrap our minds around. It's hard to explain. Like
everything was meaningful. Everything was
meaningful, or it had no meaning at all. We didn't understand metaphors and similes and all these things. Everybody was just very like I'm off in the corner going, oh, wait a minute. What does this mean? Is this
you're hyper focused on this one thing that ends up not being useful.
And I imagine y'all aren't very collaborative either.
No.
Everybody's on an island. Yeah.
We all died. And that's the fun thing about an escape room. I mean, I'm still talking about it 5 years after the fact. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun, and it was very challenging. We all died. We did not get out of the room. I think the poison gas all killed us.
You're still kind of a younger, but the youngers, as I'll refer to them, are much more collaborative than we are, just in general. Are you Gen Z or are you millennial?
I'm a millennial, barely.
Millennials and Gen Zs are real collaborative. Gen X, we're loners. We like to work alone. We like to work alone.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing, is that in a lot of, you've probably seen this too, Jamie, a lot of companies and offices will probably do the sleuths and secrets together. Sort of brings people together outside of the office, especially now these days, a lot of people are going back to the office, or they're trying to, gel their group together. You're probably seeing tons of that.
Yeah, in the past, we've definitely had a lot of team building groups come. The nice thing about this program is, because of the nature of the task of the program and the nature of the exhibit, it being smaller, it's geared towards smaller groups. So typically we ask for groups of 14 or less. Any more than that, and there's just literally too many cooks in the kitchen. Like it doesn't get done properly. Like everybody's everywhere and they're all like
too chaotic.
So it's a smaller group, which is great, especially right now. Most of the time we see groups of team building. We have friend groups who come. It's really fun to see friend groups come. They'll, pitch in for somebody's birthday. I had someone celebrating their first night out after having a new baby, and this is what they decided to do. So it was a really fun thing to see them, and they were very excited to be there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. And the fun thing about this program is that I feel like as you get older, your brain changes a little bit because you've experienced more or whatever it is. But I can say with absolute certainty that children are infinitely better at this program than adults are.
I believe
every
that.
time. Yeah. Because they talk to each other. They're like, hey, look what I found. Isn't this cool? They notice every single thing. They're opening every single drawer. They're touching everything, which is what you're allowed to do in that exhibit, which is kind of another cool part about it. But kids are so good at that program, even if they don't have necessarily what's the word I'm looking for?
Some of the higher level information that's involved. Yeah. Speaking of that, you got to write a curriculum, and it was an exciting one based on escape rooms and children. That was a great segue, Jamie.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. Good job.
It's our escape camp, which I am a little bit proud of. I've heard good things about it. I haven't ever been able to witness it in action, but I have been told that kids have really enjoyed it, as long as they know what they're getting into. Because it is a camp geared towards building your own escape room. So it's not necessarily just doing a bunch of escape rooms, those are included and they are super fun. However, it's mostly geared on learning how to see things around your house and how to take those things and make them work for you in like a homemade escape room with like minimal, just like stuff you can find around your house, like cups and, a toy that you have in your room or a soup can, stuff like that.
Cardboard, books, just random everyday things. Yeah, that's really cool.
It helps learn how to make different hides and different codes and ciphers and puzzles. And it also kind of helps to guide the young brain into how to build one from scratch. Because they can be kind of like mind bending, even when you're trying to make one, design one.
If you take Escape Camp and Master Spy Camp, or you send your kids, we can teach your kid how to be sneaky. In Master Spy Camp, I have to laugh.
I'm sure parents love that.
They actually do. It's one of our most popular camps where I'm like, we're teaching them how to be deceptive and to hide things. And then
before they're teenagers.
Exactly. See, we're doing a service. Yeah. No, but it is in the escape room is kind of similar, but it's fun and it makes them
support science. Now they're going to hide all this. Everybody that does summer camp at HMS, they're all beautiful angels and they would never do anything wrong. I promise you.
That's true.
They are great kids and they're not, reckless teenagers from a John Hughes movie that are trying to, wreck their parents' lives. They teach amazing stuff at the summer camp, and especially that. So that's just and now we have a whole little generation that's just going to be building escape rooms in their own.
That's right. Everything is going to be an escape room. It's going to be.
Well, you think about it, though, that's sort of what life is.
It's true. That's a good metaphor, Craig. That's a fine metaphor. In fact, I like that.
The world is just a big escape room we're never going to escape out of. It's just.
That's kind of
you will never succeed.
All right, everybody. Good podcast.
It's like Hotel California. You can check out, but you can never ever leave.
What's also cool about Sleuths and Secrets is that the timing of it, because it's 6 p.m. to 7:30, 8 o'clock or so. So people love. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities to be at the museum later than usual, but people just love jumping at any chance they can get to be at the museum by themselves or with a group of people.
Yeah. So the cool thing about Sleuths is, it is after hours, which gives especially adult groups a cool opportunity, especially if you live here or even if you don't live here, to come down, have dinner, come do this really cool activity, and then go home, do whatever. So you can make a night out of it, which is kind of nice. And it's also really cool for celebrations. I've had kids come and do their birthday here, and do a Sleuths program for those kids who are kind of, up for the challenge and looking to do something a little bit more, brainy. Yeah, brainy. That was me as a kid. I was like, how can I make my friends do math on my birthday?
That sounds great.
They were like, we're never coming to a single birthday ever again. So,
Kennedy did one for her birthday, not here, unfortunately, because it wasn't a thing yet. But yeah, no, kids like them, the brainy kids.
Yeah, and you can you can come as a group. So like you can get all your friends together and you can come as one big group. But we also have opportunities, I think only for adults currently, but I think every few months we have a individual registration type event. So basically, you can go online, you can sign up for it, you and a partner, you and a friend, you by yourself, and you can come and join up with other adults and do this program together, which sounds really scary because I know as adults we're afraid of new people, but I have always had really good experiences with it. People seem to have a really good time with it.
It's probably better with strangers because you don't already come in there with like pre-murder on your mind for something that irritated you about as a friend. Like, I knew you were going to do that. They're strangers, so you have to be nice.
There's always like a middle school teacher in there who has very much like, all right, everyone, bring everything to the front. Let's talk about it energy. And they are important.
That's me.
Yeah.
I've never been, the few times I have done escape rooms, I'm always the wanderer, the person that's in
There's
the
always one of
thing.
those. Yeah.
It's like this has a deeper meaning than they're telling us.
That's totally like, you.
And I don't need to, and then like, I'm the one that's like, oh yeah, I helped. They're like, all you did was lift things. That's all you're good for.
Like that's important.
Somebody needs to be the lifter.
that skull has so many different other, meanings to that. And they're like, it really doesn't. It's got a clue inside of it, Craig. That's all it is.
Look in the skull eye and find the clue.
I do like that as the museum has evolved, and I think Kat can even attest to this, that things like this, even the escape rooms, Sleuths and Secrets, our programming is sort of it's mirroring our audience now, and we're adapting to new things like escape rooms. I know we have some opportunities coming up for arts and stuff in some of our halls, and even some gaming. We're starting to dive into that a little bit too, and I'm just really excited that we're doing more interactive things at the museum. And after hours, especially, we want more programming there after hours if we can handle it. And it's just really good that people get to spend time at the museum and get hands-on experience with some stuff.
And I agree with you. I think especially in the last couple of years, it's ramped up with some of the new folks that came in, including yourself, that had a different sort of lens that you viewed things through. And you dragged some of us curmudgeons kind of along, with our heels dug in some ways, because it was like, that's not how we do it. But, it's been a really good thing for sure. And I think there's a lot of different new stuff now, and that's pretty awesome.
Now, are there any plans to do sleuths like in other parts of the museum? Like, is it just cabinet related, or
it's just cabinet? I do know that I know we have dreams of developing other programs for other exhibits as well. It just depends on the longevity of those exhibits. It's kind of hard.
It's a lot of work. Yeah,
it's not an easy thing to just kind of throw together. So currently it's only in cabinet since it is specific to that exhibit. Like I said, it was built with that exhibit or with that program in mind. So there are touches throughout the exhibit that you need to succeed in the program. But I know we have dreams of doing similar or adjacent programming style, where it's collaborative, everybody can come together with the group or with, individuals and solve a puzzle or, solve a mystery or something like that. So it is in the dream box, but we're waiting for the perfect exhibit to build it with. So.
And we've taken it too and are bringing it to educators, Craig. So we're taking the idea of building an escape room or coming up with these different puzzles and a plan, and using it to teach across the curriculum in the classroom. Got it. So we have a virtual teacher workshop for educator members. They get it free coming up it's not till March, but it's going to be cool. So they get to learn how to kind of take these concepts and put them in their classroom to teach math or to teach history or science or whatever the case may be. So there's lots of different directions. Yeah, it's a super effective way of teaching, mostly because I have met children and I know that if you make anything into a competition, you will succeed in teaching that thing. There may be they will crawl all over each other to get the right answer. It's a great way of managing the classroom. A little bit of healthy competition, a little bit of puzzle solving brain power. That's the other thing I was going to say is that Craig, it sounds like you guys did not succeed in your escape room. However, the nice thing about, I think, escape rooms is that at the end of it, did they tell you how to solve the things that you couldn't?
Yeah.
Right. So you still get to know about it where you're like, but at least So you have that satisfaction where you're like, okay, that all made sense. Perfect. Done. I don't know if that's just my brain, but I would die.
It really happened. We realized how we were on this level and we were supposed to be here. Yeah. And we were here because we're all reporters and trying to find deeper meaning and trying to get, context. Trying
to be Ronan Farrow or whatever his name is.
We should have been right here and we would have escaped and gone out to get drinks and stuff sooner than later. Instead, our time ran out. It was just really, but that's the thing is it's since it's tailored to all groups too, and it also shows you your strengths. And I'm sure if you're, an office manager, you'd love to be able to see, okay, I'm seeing these people in the wild and I'm seeing what they're good at, what their strengths are, because you're always trying to, see, who on your team is suited to what skill.
Sure.
So it's a good thing for that kind of deal.
Yeah. I would have never gotten promoted out of anywhere if that were frustrating me. I'm not a team player sometimes.
Oh man, I'm super
Well.
non-confrontational, so escape rooms are kind of hard for me, mostly because I'll see a thing and be like, I feel like you're doing that wrong, or that probably is important, but no one's paying attention to it. But I'm never the one that's like, hey guys, this is important. We should care about this. I'm like,
You can see birth order in that too. I'm the youngest of the bunch, so I'm pushing people out of the way and
the
over here.
oldest, don't rock the boat. You know,
I'm gonna burst
Yeah,
you
no,
strong.
I'll leave that to Sarah.
And I was the old one that was just like, I think I was the oldest in our group, and I was just the one that, like I said, just off in the corner. You know, what's it all mean? What's going on? There's got to be a deeper context, and that's.
Are you
that's
an
my
only
own
child,
flaw.
Craig?
No.
You're not?
It's me. My brother is 6 years younger, so So I had the first 6 years of my life. I was
Right.
an only child, and then they cast another person, for the show.
Always a bummer.
And, it was he's different. He would do really well at escape rooms because he's very literal. And he doesn't see things as like, this cornucopia of meaning and everything has like, vastly different
Ulterior meanings or
yeah. He's just
Yeah.
like very straightforward, black and white, mathematical, and he would probably get out before we even, before time even ran out. He'd be like, okay, cool, let's get out of here.
Yeah,
On the
this
next
was
thing.
nothing. You can't fool me.
Yeah.
You
So I'm
can't.
just really glad that we have experiences like that, guys. Sleuths and Secrets, check it out. We're going to wrap it up so everybody can get back to doing everything they're doing. We got a lot of big news coming up for the museum this week that we're recording this. So my brain is tired. My brain is sweating. Jamie, thank you for taking time out to talk to us about Sleuths and Secrets, guys. You can check out the website and sign up for one of these amazing experiences, and Jamie will be there in the corner trying to not tell you what to do.
So hard. Yeah,
Thanks,
if you guys
Jamie.
need any extra information, feel free to email us at overnights@hmns.org. That'll come to me and my team, and we're happy to set that up for you guys, and we'd love to see you. And I will struggle not to laugh.
Good job, Jamie.
Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Jamie.
guys.
Jamie and Kat, talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys.